What's going on, guys? ShadowNinja here. Today I want to continue my little breakdown discussion around the final shape showcase Bungie did August 23rd. Now today we're going to focus in on the new supers and what it means for the expansion in itself. There's an interesting pattern, I must say, about how what they're introducing in terms of a new subclass or just in terms of new supers seems to have a big indication of the quality of the expansion. And before we go anywhere, let's talk about that and break it down before we get into some of the new stuff we should expect with the final shape. So in Forsaken, we got 9 new supers. In Witch Queen, over the course of 3 seasons, we got brand new aspects and fragments that expanded on the light subclass to bring them up to par with the stasis subclass, which kind of had a lot of customization and flexibility, where the light subclass had a tree system that really wasn't working out in a good way. It was really outdated and was getting overshadowed by stasis and what players can do. So we got that out the way. Now let's look at 2 expansions where we introduced a new subclass. In this case, we introduced stasis in Beyond Light, and then we introduced strand in Lightfall. Both these expansions left something to be desired and honestly didn't have a good standing with the community. Now, disclaimer, I enjoy both Lightfall and Beyond Light. I enjoy them a lot. I don't love them like I do Witch Queen or Forsaken or any other high praise season I have in Destiny's history. I enjoyed them. There's not really much bad I can say except for some of the DLCs like Curse of Osiris and maybe Shadowkeep, but again, I think Shadowkeep I give a pass because of the circumstances. But we have 2 times where they did something to alter or add to something we already have in the game, and then we have them bringing in brand new subclasses. And the final shape is looking to just bring in 3 new supers, not the 9 that Forsaken did, but 3 new supers. 1 for Void, 1 for Arc, and 1 for Solar. Now, when it comes to these supers themselves, we are going to get 1 new Titan Void super, 1 new Warlock Solar super, and 1 new Hunter Arc super. All these have a support theme to them, and well, they categorize that as that. They were talking about support, but one of them doesn't really have support. I don't really know. So the first one is an interesting one. The Warlocks are getting a Solar Radiant super. So this is a first person super like Golden Gun. And the main thing here is not only being supercharged yourself, like having a massive amount of solar energy and you're doing all this crazy explosion, but you're also radiating solar things around you. So if your allies have solar weapons in some degree, they've talked about how they're going to be supercharged. And I find this pretty interesting. It's kind of a mobile buff. We've seen this with the aspect of Banner of War, how you're in this area and you're providing support to your teammates around you. Some of this stuff has been dumbed down by Well of Radiance and the bubble for Void Titans. So seeing something different in that regard and adding some support capabilities, I think is perfectly fine. And it's kind of an offensive support, which I think is great. Now, on top of getting a new super, we're also getting a new solar aspect for you Warlocks. And it's basically casting a rift gives you a scorched version of an Arc Soul. Now, I'll be honest, it sounds awesome, but I can understand people saying, oh, you're just bringing an Arc Soul and a Child of Old Gods type of thing to the Solar subclass. And I get that, but I think it just fits right in with what Warlocks have been able to do, and it looks pretty good. Now, my main class is Titans, and we're getting something that honestly, it's been long overdue. We're getting a Void super surrounding axes, and it is kind of a one-off range super, but not really a one-off range super. So you basically throw these 3 axes and they have void elements to them. So they'll pull, they'll explode. It maybe looks like they'll cause some volatile stuff, like making them volatile in some way. Yeah, it looks awesome. It looks intriguing. So let's see how that pans out. But the interesting part of this, and I think it's really awesome as kind of a fun team thing, we'll see how the damage works out amongst the axes and the range super itself, but you can pick up these axes. They don't disappear, so your teammates can pick them up. You get up to 3, so a fire team of 3 can utilize them all together. Fire team of 6, well, you got to pick and choose, first come first serve, and all this stuff looks pretty intriguing. Now, one of the cooler stuff in this is a brand new aspect that Void Titans are getting, and this is something I really much wished wasn't a thing, well, at least was a thing the whole time. So we're basically going to consume our grenade and it creates this frontal shield. Now, the goal of the frontal shield isn't just to block, but it's also to absorb the incoming damage, and then you pretty much output that damage. That is cool. That is something I'm surprised we got now and not before, but hey, expanding and adding new aspects to some of these subclasses is pretty cool. Hopefully we actually also add aspects to other subclasses in other classes when the episodes roll around, but it looks like that might be the case. Let's see. And then for arcs, we got the Minato super. So basically, if you guys ever seen Naruto, the 4th Hokage, Minato had this flying Raijin Jutsu. He'll used to throw his little kunai or whatever down and teleport to it. You're doing the same thing here except with a machete. Not as cool as a kunai, but you know, you throw this machete down, you teleport to it, and you do this spiral attack, and you get up to 3 attacks of these. So you hunters get some really awesome stuff, but viability, let's see how this plays out. It looks like a fun ad clear roaming super in terms of just regular activities. Some of those high DPS options, I'm sure Gathering Storm will still be a top tier player, but yeah, looks fun, it looks intriguing. Now the aspect I'll admit, guys, I think you guys got the worst one. I wish I could care though, because you hunters are the bane of me. So you basically just fly. You do a twirl and you elevate to the air. Now I'm sure there's some AoE effects to this. I don't know specifically the in details. It's just kind of described as kind of a combo thing. So they wanted hunters to feel more of a combo system, like they're like fighting characters. We'll see how that plays out in the game when the final shape launches, but it definitely looks like it is the weakest. But I will say this, when it comes to PvP, this may be an interesting new way to maneuver and being annoying. And hey, if it has a PvP element that you guys like when it comes to verticality and changing the line of sights for your opponents, this certainly will be a great thing for you. But let's see how this plays out. Doesn't look appeasing, but yeah. 3 new supers, 3 new aspects, 1 tied to each subclass that's getting a new super. All this stuff looks remarkable. Again, like I mentioned before we get into the supers, when Bungie doesn't introduce a brand new subclass, things tend to be on the better side of things. Not saying it's going to be remarkable, but the 2 seasons that didn't introduce and just added to what we already had were really damn good expansions. Forsaken and Witch Queen. So if history proves me right, then this is great. Again, take it with a grain of salt. Things may not pan out like that, but I was trying to be a little optimistic. But hopefully the fact that they're not adding a subclass brings some positive vibes and some awesome content when it comes to the final shape expansion. Leave your thoughts down below on this video and on the information presented. Are you guys excited for these new supers? Were you kind of banking and hoping for a new subclass? Hey, maybe I changed your mind on subclasses being introduced and you actually don't want them anymore because they cause more problems. Leave your comments down below. If you guys also found this video informative, definitely be sure to drop this video a like. Helps out the video a ton. And for more content from me, definitely be sure to hit that subscribe button and that bell to be notified when I do drop more videos. But until then, hope you guys have a good one. ShadowNinja here, and I'm out.